So this is part 8 of Red Seal welding questions. I'm going to read it, wait for you to answer, and then read the answer. Why is long arc held at the beginning of a bead? It allows the molten puddle to develop quickly. The output of an arc welding machine is commonly expressed in terms of amperage. In the GMAW welding process, the consumable electrode is in the form of a continuous wire. What are the 4 major classifications of welding machines? Multiple coil, movable core, and inverter. Blank can cause an arc to move during a weld. Uneven flux lines. Oh, I hate when you get uneven flux lines. Open circuit voltage is voltage of an electrode before striking the arc. True or false? True. What welding agency or entity does the acronym AWS identify? American Welding Society. Even though you're in Canada, it's the American Welding Society. The amount of heat produced by welding arc is determined by the amperage. Ductility is the ability of a metal to do what before it breaks? Elongate. The flux coating on an electrode provides a gas shield to blank. Protect the molten metal. Shorter arcs are best suited for use on thin metal or thin to thick metal joints. True. Which of the following characteristics is not important when determining the type of welding electrode to select? Well, that's dumb. A lot of things would be not important. But what they're saying is transformer or rectifier. Amperage or current setting depends on electrode type, size, position, and metal thickness, and should be adjusted only when no welding is being done. Why is the change in polarity useful in electric arc welding? Controls heat and depth of penetration. What material has a grain structure that appears very coarse and silvery? White cast iron. Blank is a measurement of the amount of electrical energy or power in the arc. Wattage. It's a new word, wattage. For most welding in architectural mechanics, the best electrode size is 1/8 inch. So 1/8. Which of the following is another name for arc welding process that uses flux-coated metal welding rods? Shielded metal arc welding, or SWAW. If an electrode holder becomes hot, you should never dip it in water to cool it off. Is this correct or incorrect? That is correct. When arc welding machines may be stacked to save space as long as there is enough room between them for air to circulate. True or false? That is true. What is the length of the most commonly used electrode for the process of shielding metal arc welding? The length of the most commonly used electrode is 14 inches. That's what they all say. Which of the following statements about arc welding is false? Well, that's just dumb. Why would they say it like that? And they only give me one. An arc that is too long sounds like bacon frying. That's false. Electrodes are identified by classification systems established by that old American Welding Society. On basic constant current arc welding machine, what does the primary or main adjustment control? Amperage. Welding cables should be significantly long to reach the workstation. True or false? True. Welding cables made of aluminum wire must be blank and would be required for copper. One size larger than. The welding cables made from aluminum wire must be one size larger than would be required for copper. Should be one size bigger than copper. If the current is set too low or too high, you should change the settings during welding. True or false? This is false. As the welding progresses, the electrode becomes shorter. True or false? True. The weave pattern selected for flat butt joints is not as critical as the pattern selection for other joints and positions. True or false? True. To correct an blank problem, a welder can use a smaller electrode at the lower current setting to correct a overheating problem. Rectifiers must be connected to a heat sink and cool air blown over them always. True or false? True. Which of the following items would not be considered an essentially safety item for a welding shop? Well, that's dumb because it doesn't give you a list. It says duct tape. Duct tape is not an essential safety equipment, although it's very helpful for many, many things. Which of the following lens shades is most effective at reducing the brilliancy of light and screening out the harmful infrared ultraviolet rays produced during arc welding? It says a number 10 shade lens. Either a black hose or a green hose are approved colors and are appropriate for an oxygen hose or oxyacetylene cutting and welding equipment. True or false? True. What terminology correctly identifies the reduction in voltage caused by resistance that occurs between the power supply and the load? Voltage drop. What is the name of the metal joining process where two pieces of metal are heated to a point of melting and then melted metals flow together? Fusion welding. The oxyacetylene mixture is igniting inside the torch in an unsafe manner when an accelerating cutting torch is operating and has a loud squealing or hissing noise indicate. Is this true or false? That is true. What electrical device is a necessary component of an electrical welding machine and is used to step up or step down the voltage and amperage as needed to perform welding operations? Transformers, robots in disguise. What type of flame is used for most oxy-fuel welding procedures when welding on mild steel? Neutral flame. Which of the following safety concerns are related to welding is more likely to occur gradually over an extended period of time? Hearing loss. It just has one answer. Hearing loss caused by extended exposure to elevated sound levels. Which of the following statement is correct in respect to safety glasses while welding? Safety glasses should be worn continuously while working with or near metal or working activities. You only have to wear them when the boss is around. Safety glasses suck. They don't make you look cool. Never wear them. Of course, the answer is they should be worn whenever you're near or you are doing things. Blank electrodes have a forceful arc with little slag left on the weld bead. E6010 and E6011. So those electrodes have a forceful arc with little slag left on the weld bead. What describes the appropriate power source for the gas metal arc welding process? Constant voltage. What type of power supply is used for flux core arc welding process? Constant voltage. A properly sized electrode holder can overheat if its jaws are dirty or loose. True or false? That is true. The three units used to measure an electrode current are amps, watts, and volts. Quality requirements. In selecting a joining process, one consideration relates to blank, such as whether a weld will be used on a piece of furniture or to repair a piece of equipment or to join a pipeline. Quality requirements. Oh, it's a dumb question. It was worded funny. In a pulsated arc metal transfer current cycle, blank refers to the surging electrical current passing through the transformer like a wave on water. Overshot. The reverse flow valve will stop the flame from the flashback from continuing through the hoses. True or false? The reverse flow valve will stop the flame from a flashback from continuing through the hoses. It is false. The combination welding or cutting torch offers more flexibility because the cutting head, welding tip, or heating tip can be attached quickly to the same torch body. True or false? That is true. In a pulsed arc metal transfer current cycle, blank is the function of the time it takes the magnetic field in a transformer to collapse once the coil is de-energized. This is called the ramp down. No industrial standard tip size identification system exists. True or false? This is true. There are no internal or external moving parts in a regulator or a gauge that requires oiling. True or false? That one's true. Here's another true-false. All regulators can be used interchangeably on different types of gas for different pressure ranges. That one's false. GMAW power supplies are blank type machines. Constant voltage or constant potential. A blank may oversee the actual work for the engineer by providing the engineer with progress reports as well as chemical, physical, and mechanical test results. This would be a technician. Welding engineers design, specify, and oversee construction of complex weldments. True or false? That is true. Which of the following is true perpendicular welding technique? It has good balance between penetration and reinforcement and uses an automated welding. Sorry, that one was worded funny. Next. The arc from an arc welder has a temperature of about 9,000 degrees. Which of the following variables will not affect the welding temperature? Size or length of the electrode. So that's dumb because I'm sure a lot of things would. Alright. The thin copper coating on a steel wire electrode either burns off or is diluted into the weld pool with no significant effect to the weld bead. True or false? True. It is possible to make acceptable welds with the wrong type of power supply. True or false? That is false. As the slope increases, both the short circuit current and pitch effect are increased. That is false. Even though blank welding, is slower and requires higher skill levels as compared to other manual welding processes, it is still in demand because it can be used to make extremely high quality welds in applications where weld integrity is critical. This is GTA welding. Hoses are available in 4 sizes. What are they? A 3/16, like a 3/16, a 1/4, a 5/16 inch, and a 3/8 inch. Which of the following thread types and hose colors is correct for the oxygen hose on an oxyacetylene regulator hose assembly? So what color and what way does the thread go? Right-handed threads on a green hose. On a direct current arc welding machine, what electrical component converts the incoming alternating current into direct current for welding? A rectifier. When drilling, if the metal shavings coming out of the hole become long, you should stop downward pressure. It should be tightly woven and a dark color is important when choosing general work clothing. True or false? It should be tightly woven and a dark color is important when choosing general work clothing. True or false? True. GMA and blank welding are the first choice for many welding fabricators because these processes are cost-effective, produce high-quality welds, and are flexible and versatile. FAC. FAC, that's for me. What is the name of the cleansing agent used to prevent the formation of oxidized, release trapped gas and slag, and cleanse the metal chemically during the welding, bronzing, and soldering process? Flux. What is another name used to describe the gas metal arc welding process? Metal inert gas welding. In the beginning, the GMAW process was used to weld aluminum using argon gas for shielding. True or false? True. Oil must be filled to correct level and to lube parts to reduce friction. True or false? True. The short circuiting process works better with long electrodes stick out. True or false? That one is false. An accelerating valve should never be opened more than 1 1/2 turns. The most commonly used welding processes are gas metal arc welding and flux cord arc welding. The term acetylene comes from oxygen and acetylene. Connection for acetylene hoses have blank threads. Left-handed. In American Welding Society electrode code, going from left to right, the first 2 or 3 digits refer to blank, the next digit refers to blank, and the final digit refers to... Alright. The first one is definition and tensile strength. The second one is welding position, and the third one is welding current and or depth of penetration. I think that's the right one, but that's the one we have to look up. So the first one is definition, tensile strength. The second one is welding position, and the third one is welding current and depth penetration. What does the following color band on a resistor tell you? So the first band is the first numbers of the resistance value. The second band, the second number of the resistance value. The third band, the number of zeros to add to the first 2 digits. And the fourth band, tolerance of the resistor. An agricultural mechanic shop is also referred to as the blank. AG mechanic shop, AG mech shop, or AG shop. Oxygen and acetylene hoses can stand pressure because they are blank. Reinforced. A clean, organized shop can reduce the chance of what? Getting in trouble from your boss for being messy. Nope, that's not the answer. Can reduce accidents. The term agricultural mechanic shop is a good place for serious students to learn skills that are useful. And then it says now and in the future. The color markings on electrode will be blank markings. Colored. Colors of the limbs like traffic lights from right arm red, then yellow, then green, and black is for neutral. The national organization that helped develop the safety color coding are OSHA, OSHA. Okay, black and white means what? Traffic and housekeeping. Yellow means what? Warn of physical hazards. Blue means what? Caution out of service. Green means what? First aid equipment. Red means danger, stop. Orange means this is a dangerous part. It could cut or crush. Purple means a radiation hazard. Safety in an egg shop depends on you. The other answers were your teacher or other students, but you are what makes it most safe. The hazards of breathing dust and paint spray can be reduced by wearing a blank. Mask or respirator. The standard unit of sound is the decibel. All machinery should be installed according to blank specifications. Manufacturers. All electrical devices should be installed according to the blank code. National Electrical Code. Many accidents leave the victim partially or totally disabled. Don't have an accident. We don't want to be disabled. Minimum eye protection is provided by wearing blank or blank. Safety glasses or goggles. When cutting, the edge of metal should be preheated until it is blank. Cherry red. Gas cylinders must be securely blank. Chained or fastened. When no apparatus is attached, a blank should be screwed onto oxygen cylinders. A cap. Gas can be compressed with a blank. Pump. Gas leaks are checked with soapy water. No bubbles, no troubles. The body parts most often injured in a shop accidents are the funny bone. Nope. The arms and hands. A commonly used fuel is acetylene. When working with objects above head level, a blank should be worn. A hard hat. Or your dad's hard hat so everybody runs away. So they think you're the supervisor. Which is not part of the fire triangle. Combustion. That's a dumb question. Which color indicates safety? Green. Green means go. It's safe. Which color indicates traffic areas? White. Which color indicates traffic markings? Black and white stripes. Which color indicates radioactivity? Black and yellow stripes. I think that's wrong. I think that should be purple. Check that out. Which color indicates caution? Yellow. Slow down. Yellow light. Caution. Which color indicates danger? Red. Red means stop. Which color indicates information? Blue. Which color indicates warning? Orange. Think of your orange pylons. That's a warning. The best item of protective clothing an agricultural worker uses is coveralls. The length of time a person is exposed to a sound is called noise duration. Hearing damage can occur if excessively exposed to noise above. How many decibels? 90 decibels. Suitable eye protection must be used when working with everything. It says all of it answers listed. The number of focal colors in a shop color coding system are 3. The number of safety colors in a shop coloring coding system are 9. Fire equipment and safety switches are indicated by what color? Red. Fire engines are red. Mechanization of agriculture has resulted in increased production efficiency. Identify the following metal property as P for physical, M for mechanical, or C for chemical. Corrosion resistance. That is a C. C is for chemical. For safety purposes, moving parts on machines should be shielded. Almost always, an engine problem can be narrowed down to which area? Usually compression, but it could be ignition or fuel. Which of the following is true of axle spray transfers using high current settings? It gives me one, so I'll give you the answer. High current settings may cause the weld to be difficult to control in out-of-position welds. An axle spray metal transfer, the shielding gas is usually a mixture of what percent? Of what? 2 things. 95% to 98% argon and 2 to 5% oxygen. Gauges that do not read blank when the pressure is released must be repaired or replaced. 0 PSIG. Blank cutting uses a stiff, highly ionized, extremely hot column of gas to almost instantly vaporize the metal being cut. A plasma arc. Blank is a type of welding. Gas, tungsten arc welding. There's a lot of type of welding. Oh, wait a minute. I got stuff stuck together. Well, that's the one that went with that. That was dumb. Shoot. Alright. Pulsed arc welding systems were developed in the 1960s. True or false? True. The heat produced during axle spray welding using large diameter wire or high current may be intense enough to shatter the filter lens in a welding helmet. True or false? That is true. When first introduced, SMAW was immediately accepted because it was more productive than GTAW and produced higher quality welds than GMAW. True or false? False. If the cutting stream is too fast, what might happen? The cut may be incomplete. Helium is not considered to be an inert gas. True or false? False. If the current is set too high, the electrode covering the discolored more than blank from the end of the electrode. How many inches? If the current is set too high, the electrode covering is discolored more than 1/8 to 1/4 inches from the end of the electrode. MAG is short for, so MAG is short for metal active gas welding. Which of the following tasks are done by a welder? Everything. Providing joint guidance in machine welding process. The shielding gas is used on carbon steel is carbon dioxide, or a mixture of carbon dioxide and argon. Welding with a current set too high results in splatter. Body position changes should never be made during electrode changes. True or false? False. Electrodes with cellulose-based fluxes do not have heavy slags. True. Electrodes with mineral-based fluxes should be the first choice. True or false? False. As the fillet weld is made on a lap joint, the buildup should be less than the thickness of the plate. True or false? False. Less than the thickness of the plate is false. So that means it should be more. Which of the following determines the amount of preheat flame required to make a cut? Type of fuel, gases, and material thickness, shape, and surface condition. Which of the following determines the amount of preheat flame required to make a cut? The answer is type of fuel, gas, and material thickness, shape, and surface condition. Acetylene is used in tips having blank preheat holes. 1 to 6. If an excessive amount of preheat flame is used, what will happen? The top edge may be melted or rounded off. If the pressure setting is too high, the sides of what? The sides of the kerf may be dished. Welding with a current set too high results in poor fusion and poor arc stability. True or false? That one's false. A welded T-joint can be strong if it's welded on both sides, even without having deep penetration. True or false? True. Large diameter electrodes may overheat the metal if they are used with thin or small pieces of metal. Sorry, I'm too stuck together here. There we go. This one says, the selection of the correct size of welding electrode is determined by the thickness and size of the metal. True or false? True. When cutting pipe firsthand, if the pipe is larger than 3 inches in diameter, what should you do with the torch tip? The torch tip is always pointed toward the center of the pipe. Blank contains little or no iodizing iron. Soft slag. The blank pattern works well on flat lap joints, all vertical joints, and horizontal butt and lap welds. J. The J pattern works well on lap joints and all those other things. The straight step pattern can be used for stringer beads. The mixing chamber may be located in the torch body or the tip. Most cutting tips are made of copper alloy. To prevent blank, uses as little leading angle as possible. To prevent cold lap and slag inclusions. Some electrodes may not remove the deposit ahead of the molten weld pool, resulting in discontinuous within the weld. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. The blank determines the thickness of a metal that can be cut. Cutting tip diameter. If the arc length is shortened, metal transferring across the gap may short out the electrode, causing it to stick to the plate. An arc will jump what? The closest metal conductor. Welding shop supervisors demonstrate good management skills by planning jobs and assigning workers. True or false? True. Tack welders often help the welder by making small welds to hold parts in place. That is true. The oxy-fuel or OF gas processes are the least versatile of the welding processes. True or false? Says they are the least versatile. That is false. Identify the following metal as P for physical, M for mechanical, or C for chemical. Strength. That is M for mechanical. Term never use blank as a solvent. Gasoline. Oh, that'd be bad. Doing great. Keep going. The best amperage setting for cutting is blank percent higher than for welding. 50. If you want to cut, it's 50% higher than welding. Keep an approved blank in the work area. Fire extinguisher. Wear protective blank at all times. Goggles. For most welding in agricultural mechanics, the best electrode size is 1/8 inch. Place rags that have fuel or oil on them in an approved blank container. Fireproof container. In metal, the most rapid movement of heat is up. Making a hole with an electrode is called piercing. Like you pierce your ear, go right through it. Blank welding is accomplished when a solvent is applied that can temporarily dissolve plastic, allowing two plastic surfaces to bond to one another. When this occurs, the polymer chains are free to move in the liquid and can mingle with other similarly dissolved chains. Given sufficient time, the solvent will permeate through the polymer and out into the environment, so the chains lose their mobility. This leaves a solid mass of entangled polymer chains, which constitutes a blank weld. Solvent. GMAW stands for well, this is wrong. It says metallic inert gas. That one's wrong. Oh, maybe. Sorry. GMAW stands for metallic inert gas. GTAW stands for tungsten inert gas. When using power tools, electrical shock hazards may be reduced by wearing rubber-toed shoes. The temperatures from gas flames using acetylene fuels are 5,000 to 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Hanging hoses on regulators may result in broken regulators. Do only the procedures on a power machine for which you have had permission. And acetylene pressure to light a torch should be The acetylene pressure to light a torch should be what psi? 5 psi. Acetylene hoses and related equipment are color-coded what color? Red. The presence of acetylene and propane is detected by odor. If you smell eggs, stinky eggs, you smell propane. The valve on an acetylene cylinder is protected by a high collar.